Welcome everybody back to Tattooing Out Loud podcast. This episode is brought to you by Helios Tattoo Supply. If you're ready to restock on supplies, make sure to check out their website. Not only do they have tattoo needles, but they also have their own tattoo inks. They definitely do take care of us as artists, and a huge thanks to them for sponsoring the podcast. Also, thank you to Industry Inks for providing us with some of the brightest pigments that I've used, with a large variety of colors, tones, black and gray sets, black lining ink. If you want to give them a try or already used them before, on your next order, upon checkout, use the promo code OUTLOUD to support the channel and also receive a discount. All right, so today's episode is brought to you by Sacred Geometry Drawing App. It's created by artist Dillon Forte, who is our guest for today's episode. If you're an artist, tattooer, designer, or anyone who works with symmetry and precision, this app is made for you. It's available now, iOS for iPad. This drawing app offers powerful tools for creating intricate patterns, geometric illustrations, and even 3D shape mapping. Whether you're designing tattoos, digital artwork, or just exploring the beauty of sacred geometry, Dillon's app gives you everything you need to bring those visions to life. You could find the Sacred Geometry Drawing app in the App Store, and while we listen into this episode, you actually get to hear the process of what it took to create this app. Now let's get into today's conversation with Dillon, who gives us a huge insight on his upbringing, all the challenges he's faced in the industry, how he's evolved from a skater kid in Cali to living in the country in Austin, Texas.
Nah, dude, chilling.
Bro, you've been busy, huh?
I'm always busy, dude. Like, it's too much, though. It's like it's like burning the candle on both ends. There's just no time, dude. There's just time. Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
You were like moving locations and like open up a whole new, I guess like a settlement or like a compound. You know what I mean?
I mean, it felt like a settlement, like when,
right. Dude.
Yeah, so that's like. I mean, the funny thing is I'm like almost like two different moves in a way past that. Yeah. So when I moved out of LA, we got this like 10-acre compound essentially in out here in Wimberley. And it's like a 10-acre ranch. So I bought a house and then we also bought this like ranch property. And that's the one that we did we built the glass pyramid and like the whole like tattoo retreat center.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was cool. I mean, that's where I was at for the past couple of years. Super sick. I actually sold that property maybe like 2 months ago or something.
Who ended up? So how did you put it up for the market because you were already in like looking somewhere else to relocate or?
Well, no, so I live in Wimberley and the studio is in Austin. Basically,
right, Austin. Okay.
Yeah. So like we're in Austin right now and Wimberley and Austin's like 45 minutes apart. It's like not. It's like to like someone living in like, Southern California, like I was, it's like, that's like the same place. I mean, like a 45-minute commute is like pretty standard, so yeah, anyway, like Wimberley is just right outside Austin. It's just like a cool little small town. It's like, it would be like Ojai or something, right. Like kind of like a San Luis Obispo, like a Paso Robles kind of thing.
For sure.
Super cool. But, yeah, now the shop right now is just in Austin. It's a small studio. It's essentially a private studio. What happened really is, it was just hard to get. My vision for the property was like a 10-acre like tattoo retreat center, essentially, where it's like I was building cabins for people to come stay at when they came to like do guest spots or came to just like get tattooed. And it just was super ambitious, honestly. Like, I think it was like, I said it, the easiest way to say it is just like the juice was starting to not be worth the squeeze. It was like, I think it was just like where everyone's at is a lot of guests were having a hard time booking because it's kind of far out. So it was a little bit of too much of a destination. And I felt like it ended up just being my like massive private studio. And I was like, all right, this is like cool and all, but it appreciated a little bit, so it seemed just like, it was like kind of boring. It's just kind of financial just to switch it up, like sell the big property, kind of double, like, I already tried doubling down on it too a couple times. I was like, no. Then I had some investors lined up and they were going to try to like turn it into like a proper like hotel, like damn near boutique hotel. It was just an ambitious like real estate.
Yeah, it was going to be like a resort. You know what I mean?
Straight up. It was going to be like a tattoo resort. And honestly, like I was kind of the one footing the bill completely. And I was like, oh yeah, this isn't gonna, like, I'm just going to burn myself out. I mean, there's no amount of tattooing at any amount of level that is like going to be able to build like an Amman or like some kind of like high-end 5-star boutique resort hotel. Like, I mean,
right. Well, I mean, I can only imagine that mental strain though, dude. Like the amount of like having to spread out this whole effort of you know, because you're accommodating so much, I feel, not only like the guests, the artists. That seems like a
Yeah,
lot. You know?
I'm not that good at delegating, like in all
Right,
fairness,
right.
like, like most artists, it's like kind of introverted or like a little bit like tad autistic. Like I just sit there
Sure,
and go,
sure.
somebody,
Tad
like,
autistic.
I just sit there and like
Yeah, yeah.
14 hours a day, just look at somebody's arm. And then it's like, hey, we need to trench a commercial septic system. And it's like 100 grand. And you're like, yo, wait, hold up.
Yo,
What?
hold on, dude. I'm like honed in over
That's
here.
like, I'm going to be tatted for another year out here. Like, it's just like
Right, 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 dude.
decades of work, essentially, it felt like. And I was just like, yo, I don't know. Like, you leaving, you can't just, I don't know, infrastructure, dude.
Right.
Infrastructure. This is like a whole, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just a lot, roofs and wells and like, just these numbers. You get like 100K well, and you're like, yo, what? Like,
Yeah, dude, that's
I thought like
insane,
I
bro.
was kind of like big balling, and then you come out,
Yeah,
you're like, you get hit with like like yeah, like a roof, and it's like 75,000, or like a well. You're
right.
like, oh, chill, hold up, like it's like
Dude, when it comes to all that, man, especially remodeling and you're looking at the pricing, you're like, damn, these tickets, dude.
yeah,
It
that's
it's
I don't know.
wild.
It is a total crazy thing, because I know so many people. They, first thing I like when I run into them at a convention or something, like, oh, bro, I see you be like charting. I'm like, bro, I mean, yeah, I hear you for sure. Like, but some of the numbers I be seeing on the back end of like some of the projects I'm doing, I'm like, it's all relative. Like,
That's
just
insane, bro.
it is, So there's a lot of that, and then so yeah, we just honestly, it's a normal shop. It's nothing crazy. Normal shop in terms of the studio space.
Right.
But
That's
yeah,
dope, dude.
yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. I mean, that was really why that wasn't even necessarily my like biggest or like most. It was maybe most exciting or interesting, but I mean, we released the machine, all last like maybe a year and a half ago. We dropped these like they're like jewelry grade like direct drives, which are cool. They're like it's in collaboration with my friend Andrea, who's like a metal worker and like
Oh,
teaching
dope.
school here, and like super cool like alchemy love like metal work. Like we're like everything is like faceted gemstones in them. And like there's some really cool stuff with what's happening with that. And
Yeah,
like
I definitely want to get into that and like highlight all the things you have going on, especially the new stuff like the new line, things like that that you're promoting and dropping. With that said, we could kind of kick it off. This is Tattooing Out Loud. Go ahead and give us your name, give us where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and describe your style, and we'll kind of shoot from there.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, my name is Dillon Forte. I've been tattooing for about 20 years, originally in the Bay Area, San Francisco, LA, and now out here in Austin, Texas.
Right on.
I do predominantly sacred geometry or geometric tattooing. That's been kind of my thing for the past like probably 15 years or so. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how did you get into tattooing? How did this whole thing spark while you were in California? Did you kind
Um,
of, because it was where did you grow up in?
I was born in Santa Monica, but I
Santa
grew up
Monica?
in the
Yeah.
Bay Area. I was in like Oakland and Berkeley pretty much my whole life.
Okay.
Like Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, like throughout that. Went to high school in Paso Robles in like Central California, and then out to Tampa actually for a little bit, and then back to LA and the Bay. Just like that kind of
Sure.
triangulation. But I got an apprenticeship in Berkeley. This dude named Mark Freitas
Okay.
at Telegraph Tattoos. It was
Yeah.
just like a walk-in shop up on Telegraph right by the campus. There's like kind of a super classic traditional kind of spot. I was skateboarding before that, like as a like up until I was maybe like 18, like super heavily, and so like why that's like relevant is that there's the skate shop was literally next door to like the tattoo shops, so it was like you would get like you would go to the skate shop and like you'd buy boards and shoes or whatever. And then like, one of the dudes who were older who were working there, like they would be like getting tattooed next door. I'm like, oh, I just got a tat. And so it's kind of like just cultural,
Sure.
like that kind of like situation right up there. And then, skating and then like getting hurt so much, like broke both my ankles, like trying kind of like big stuff, and getting
Yeah.
cracked. And then you're just kind of like, all right, this isn't really gonna like I don't know if this is as like a profession is gonna really pan out. So it was like, all right, let's see. Like I always was drawing, I was drawing since I was a little kid. So it was like, um, I was just like, yeah. I knew one of my buddies like, oh, you should tattoo. Like I want to get a tattoo by you. Like I like your drawings, and it was just kind of like turned into one of those things and axed around trying to get apprenticeships. Like and it just took forever. I mean, back then it was like it wasn't really nearly the same. And this is like 2005, four,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
maybe. So like I don't know. It's like yeah, 22 years ago, probably something like
Did you
that.
start off doing traditional? Because I was like a
Yeah, I did
predominant.
everything. Yeah. I did. It wasn't like, and I talk about this a lot on like different podcasts or something where it's like back then it wasn't really like you did like a style. I mean, yeah, of course there were people who were already established, like like
Right.
Coil or like Philip Blue or so. They had a style, but Guy Etchison or something. But like you weren't really doing a style. You would just kind of be lucky to show up at the tattoo shop and you're trying to learn how to apply tattoos. And then someone was like, hey, like, if by the time you got to be able to do tattoos on like walk-ins, it was
Mhm.
like, oh, cool. Hey, bro, there's a butterfly like came in. You're like up to do a butterfly. You're like, okay, sick. I'm gonna do a butterfly. Then it's
Right,
like,
right, right.
oh, okay, like, yo, a name is there. And you're like, okay, yeah, name. And it's like
Yeah.
basically just like whatever style they want, which was basically just on basic references, right? It was like, oh, like I like this cursive, so it's all italicized letters and cursive, and then okay, bang out some lettering, and then it's like, okay, cool, like I want this butterfly, but it's like I want it like my other six girlfriends who got butterflies, so then it's like
Yeah, yeah.
butterflies, but then maybe one's a little new school butterfly that's got like some white in it because she thought it was cute, and so now you're doing new school, like it wasn't, which I think is really important because you learn so much. You learn how to apply
You're getting the
saturation,
fundamentals. Yeah.
color, line work, tribal, pollen. You just learn how to do everything. I mean, I don't really think there's any other way to do it. Really, I mean, now it's totally different. People will be like, oh, I want to do my art on people, and then they like learn how to apply that. But then it's like they would just like, I don't know how it works now. I think we're seeing a little bit of almost like a weird shift in tattooing because there's so many different ways that it
It's
can.
almost, dude, I've noticed that it's almost like this weird reset where everything we know about like our traditional upbringing, right? Like these are the steps, like A, B, C to get to that.
Yeah,
I
totally.
feel like there's like this hard reset to, yeah, it's like a whole different approach, I guess. I know one of the guys I had on here, he said tattooing is always going to be the same. What changes is the tattooers. And
Mhm.
like
Yeah, for
this is
sure.
from what he's another OG guy and he was kind of like, yeah, he mentioned the same stuff. So it's like you don't even know what this whole like the process or what do you even pitch to this new upcoming guy. I mean, Amazon will give you an apprenticeship. You know what I mean? It's like,
So different
bro,
now. It's so different. I mean, like you got guys who it's like you'll do like, for instance, like all right, you'll do like one thing. You'll do like okay, blue dragon, for instance, blue dragon dude.
right.
For all I know, never heard of, never seen, never even looked at. Dude does a ceramic blue dragon, 1.5 million followers, like within like maybe 6 months. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know even how to like, I don't know how to interact in this like tattoo landscape. And I always thought of myself as very like cutting edge and like future like centric and was always trying to like push boundaries and think about things differently and think about it more like fine art because I'd
Right.
always been doing paintings before even tattooing. I was doing oil painting and like, it's like, so I thought about it very much from this idea of like fine art, but now it's like viral tattooing. So like, I think that's what the way that's like kind of weird is it's like tattooing in terms of like the internet, in terms of a business is no longer like, it's like viral. And I don't chase that stuff and I don't recommend people do because I think it will lose integrity. But I think that it's like really what we're seeing is sort of like a shift from like intentional based like tattooing or like art as a service into like viral tattoo like I don't know viral marketing based tattooing like
For
the
sure.
what will go viral is sort of what people are like focusing on and then like it's like that's the starting point like okay well maybe if we do a tattoo all in purple and it's like it goes across your body like across the face that shit'll go viral and if we do a funny video at the same time it'll definitely go viral we'll do that and the
Right.
tattoo's like the aftermath so it's almost like everyone's turning into like YouTubers who happen to be like tattoo enthusiasts, which is
Right.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of that direction, you
Yeah,
know.
it's kind of strange, man. I've been seeing a lot of things where even clients will tell me they'll be like, "Hey, there's I'm sure you get this when people will either send you or share something that is just like wild real and it reminds me of that whole drama on TV where they expect that vibe in a shot where
Oh
it's
yeah,
like where are the fights? Where's the like the hostility in a
yeah,
shot and
no, for sure.
and they come in and it's like a completely different perspective and you're just because obviously you have your controlled environment as an owner
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're just
totally.
kind of like and the guys that you have working in the shop are well selected, so therefore you choose to. I mean, you could be
Yeah,
that
it's not
street
like
shot.
drama or something. Yeah,
Right,
where I'm
right.
at, it's like pretty zero drama. I mean, right now it's damn near me. I mean, that's like, I mean, that might be the byproduct of drama. It's just like
Yeah.
get rid of everybody. But
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, it's kind of funny. I almost would say it's like the opposite, that they see my stuff and they like, it's kind of like I'm like on a crossroads sometimes because I feel like my stuff is so like, it's like the quintessential like spa type tattooer, that like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Zen. Yeah.
talk shit on, but it's like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's like me personality wise at all. So then, I mean, it is on like a deeper level, all the stuff I'm into. Like, I'm super into all the meaning and representation behind all this stuff. And it's like, I want to be able to focus. So my environment's pretty mellow and pretty peaceful. But like, I do kind of sometimes feel like, man, is that like, did it all go wrong when we made it like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, yeah.
I was at Gods of Ink and I mean, there's like two people, I was like one of the last dudes using a coil, like there. And I
Dang.
use hands, I use coils, I use direct drives, I use everything because it's like, I really try to like do a lot of R&D and like try to understand like how I make machines too, and like I've made some coils and and some and direct drives, and like I'm like trying to figure out if there's a way to make a pen that'd be cool that
For
could like
sure.
actually have that feedback and kind of like a way that, so like I don't know, I do a lot of it from like I would say more of like an R&D standpoint, but man, there
Yeah.
was like, I mean, Gods of Ink in Germany, and there was like two dudes using coils, and we're talking like all them OG fools, like everybody
Wow.
like who be talking the most shit about
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and I'm like on the internet, they'll be like, oh yeah, like loyal to the coil number one, baby. And then it's like every single one of them has got a pen. I was like, whoa, dude, you
Dude.
ain't gonna bring a coil out just to look cool? Like you ain't even trying to like, oh, okay, shit. I mean, fuck. I mean,
I feel like that was once that was once a really big concept where like loyal to the coil. I would say maybe
and nobody cares. I mean, that's like 10 years old almost that anyone
yeah,
even
super. That was like an old right. Once everybody started that whole thing, and also like iPad drawing,
yeah, yeah, no,
versus right canvas
yeah,
and oil.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now I feel like, dude, just do your thing. Like whatever you're accustomed to, whatever your like medium is. I mean, everyone's got to get out of that comfort zone eventually.
oh, for sure. Well,
You
that's
get
the thing.
capped.
I think it's great in a way. I think because I kind of almost maybe like I don't know, sound kind of like I don't know, but like I kind of actually started like I would switch back and forth sometimes to like almost sometimes like make it hard, like not make it harder, but like it's just fun sometimes to
It feels
like
good. It
I
feels
like to
good,
switch
dude.
stuff up. So like
Yeah,
I think for like artistically it helps to like solving problems is like how growth like so like growth occurs most in like tension or like through like stressors to some capacity. Like so
opposition. Yeah,
I think it's like sometimes like if you're just using one thing, I don't know, a lot of people will just use one thing. They'll like get their favorite thing. They'll like they'll use a Bishop or Cheyenne or FKR or right, and they'll just use that and they get really comfortable with it, and that's just like what they know and what they do. But like I'm totally one of those like tinkerers. So like I'll set up like 3 or 4 machines for a tattoo just to kind of make sure even that the one I'm using has it's like making it easiest for me. Like when
right,
like, so I'll almost like double check. Like if it's going too easy, I'm like, man, is it just like the skin or is like this machine just buttery right now? Like
right,
try another one real quick. Oh no, nope, okay, nope, this is just easy right here. Or like, oh, actually, damn, they're all good. I'll have
right,
days
right,
where
right.
I'll set 3 or 4 and they're all just hitting, and then I'll set up days where I'm setting those same 3 or 4, and I'm like, it just doesn't feel like it. It feels like it could be better. So I don't know. I mean, it's just always trying to figure out how to improve. And like honestly, I've been thinking like, man, I need to draw more not on like iPads because I get into such a routine. Like I use apps, bringing up like the whole like I made an app, Sacred Geometry app.
So your sacred geometry app, it's practical for those that want to create that mandala
Geometry,
style. Yeah, geometry.
it helps with mandalas and patterns, and just like it really allows any symmetry based drawing aspects to make it easier, more faster. Geometry made simply is like the slogan.
Sure.
So again, we're in the middle of a full overhaul because I'm trying to essentially make that like the Procreate of geometry, but like I want it to, and now with AI, it's really interesting. So that's like also a subtopic is like I'm trying to figure out if there's a benefit of including that, and like that's a whole ass thing trying to figure out like like learning models in the app. So like I don't know. I really hope we don't have to try to like do that to be competitive,
Yeah.
but luckily none of the ChatGPT or like Midjourney or any of those AIs are able to really do simple geometry in a way that offers any controllability. Like if you can just
Right.
say, "Oh, do a flower of life," it like will do it all kind of wonky. Sometimes it'll do it okay, which is surprising, honestly. And I
It's
assume
noticeable. It's noticeable when there are some overlapping or some things don't make
yeah,
sense.
it'll totally mess it up on
Yeah.
like you can't just get it to do it. Like I mean, sometimes you can, I sometimes will check. I'm like, I have to check that shit right now.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Okay, shit, it's got me. Fuck, we're done, dude. Call the
Yeah,
death.
yeah, yeah.
But like, there's no controllability with it. So for instance, like what we're doing is you'll be able to have like say a triangle, and then you can take it and then apply it on a grid of like hexagons. So you can have like a hexagonal matrix of triangles, or
Sure.
you could apply like a Metatron's cube around a mandala. So you have like 100 of them spiraling, and you can control spiral. Like so, it's like the main thing is interoperability. So that's like one of my big focuses. It's another reason why I had to kind of cut some of the stuff. Like I was trying to do like 10 projects at once, and I'm like one dude with like I got like
Right.
barely even a PA. I got a remote PA right now. So it's like, I don't even, it's like, this is just like not happening. I'm like in an argument 5 minutes before I got on here about having no time, being
Yeah.
house and shit. I'm like, yo, bro, shit, I have literally time is like zeroed out. So
Yeah.
that's something too, where I feel like, I don't know the solution, because I feel like it's just, my biggest sort of like, I don't like having to make like a full movie to promote a tattoo now. Like I'm not to be like grouchy and old. I'm like,
I
yo, like,
feel
I
that,
don't have that
dude.
much time, bro. Like
I feel that.
I don't have time to like photos. I spend a lot of time on my photos. So it's like
Right.
I've taken
That's
a lot
your
of
yeah, that's
pride.
your work. That's your like product, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I've taken a lot of pride on being like a second generation photographer and like using the highest level lenses and cameras and like a super nerd. Like I'm super passionate about photography, but
Mhm.
like because I'm aware of like how much effort it would be required to make cinematography in the way that I believe like the caliber in which the photographs are. It's like we're talking like 35 millimeter film, bro. Like I'm not,
Right.
I cannot, I will not, I refuse to post like a phone Instagram like reel. Like it's like we're doing high level art on human beings forever. I'm not gonna film this shit with like a fucking phone that's got like Cheeto dust on it type shit. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
fucking happening. So I don't
Right.
know. I'm stubborn on that one. So like I really also feel like yeah, just the reels thing. I don't like it. I liked it old just photos. You do a tattoo. I don't want to spend like I don't want to have to be an SEO manager. And I understand it's like totally necessary now. So like I don't know. Coming up now would be different to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a point in time where you kind of had to step back and really dissect this new this feed process, like feeding the audience what your audience because obviously you already had a following. You already had the guys that were coming to you, your
Yeah,
base clients. But like, I mean, it's like now you have to take a step back and like clean the palette, cleanse the palette and like start all over and do this whole like, okay,
absolutely.
feed the beast and like feed this and be relevant. And that drew a lot of pressure on these artists, dude. And it was pretty insane to see a lot of guys crack to that, where you're
Oh,
just like, dude, if that is one of your stress, like instead of tangible stress, where it's like legit, like, okay, take care of the business first, parallel to the business, because you're creating this whole that is what's drawing in because now walk-ins are kind of unless you're in a walk-in
like
that's
location or whatever. Yeah,
yeah
yeah. I've never been.
location
I've always been like a traveling sort of like
right but
I've been in
walk-ins
a
yeah
private studio essentially since 20 probably like 10, like
right
essentially like I'll work in shops the whole time, but it's like I've been just like appointment based since probably like at least that long, so thankfully, in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's kind of just fun though, and I do kind of have to remind people because I'll have like apprentices enough, and I'm like, you can't just go to a convention and like go do guest spots and just tattoo people when they
right
show up. Like we kind of like you also get like it's like a car that's like a sports car going at like 120, like doing like a gumball 5,000. You're like
jamming yeah
sending,
yeah
sending in. That's like yo, you could just like you could operate on a lower like octane. Like
yeah
you don't
yeah
have to have it be like I need five because I mean I tattoo 5 days a week like minimum, and it's like I've done that for like this whole time, and it's like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. Then like days off or just like days to do errands, days to do like art projects on the back end to business projects on the back end. That burns it out to like one day
That
off.
might not be enough, right? You might not have enough slack to
No,
like to
no,
keep
not at
up,
all.
catch up, right?
No, it's like it's negative, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
compounding negative. And I got a 7 year old, who's like out there, like where you at, bro? It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bro. It's like, oh, it doesn't stop, but it can't though at the same time,
Right.
because I've seen subtle kind of like shrinking of the like the motion even at that speed. So it's like, okay, then that's where you start thinking like, okay, I need to reapproach stuff. Thankfully it's like stuff's just there's so much momentum
Right.
after a while that like like yeah, it's like it is terminal velocity. Hopefully, if you put in that much just sweat equity, that it does sort of kind of like okay, there's like a gravitational pull to some capacity.
Since 2010, that's when you decided to just go appointment only, like roughly.
It wasn't like ever a decision though. It was just like I feel like it was maybe I'd say that's probably when I was like had enough like I was just booked beyond like month or two or three or four. Just I'd
Right.
say I'd say for sure 2012.
For sure.
It was a major shift 2012. I think because of like the style of work that I do predominantly, and then like what was like a lot of the just like overall sentiment in 2012 with like sort of like the mind calendar, like pyramids, aliens,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there was that whole like that became sort of more mainstream, that kind of stuff. And so like I was tattooing that kind of like thought process stuff. So I feel like it kind of like and I don't know, maybe it's just enough time at that time, about 7 years in. I probably, so I think, yeah, maybe that's just about it. It's like, uh, so from about 2012, I'd say was a major shift in my entire like work scenario. And it's been pretty much that way ever since, if not, more and more and more. Um, yeah, for sure. So like now 2025, it definitely feels like kind of in a weird future, like, I think it's gonna kind of normalize though. I think it's like it's kind of you can only have so much. It's like almost getting a little inundating with like just like content, reels, tats. So it doesn't nothing even
Yeah,
matters.
it's
It seems kind of
overflow.
AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems kind of just like I don't know. I think similar to skateboarding where we see like a moment where it kind of shifted from like underground like pre Tony Hawk Pro Skater
Right.
like that was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater is the same. I was talking about this yesterday. It's like kind of the same as like um LA Ink or Miami Ink or something. I feel like those two moments for their perspective like art forms, skateboarding,
Yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater brought it into the mainstream. Miami Ink brought it into the
It
mainstream.
webbed everything off. Yeah.
At that moment, you see the beginning of where we are now, and this is sort of like we're now you have like big sponsors. So probably it'll get to the point where there's like larger sponsorship involvement, larger, unfortunately, machine like companies, which is kind of dystopian if people don't kind of there's room for all of it, probably. I don't know. It seems inevitable, but I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. You're going to see podcasts like this getting massive reach, getting massive sponsorships. You're going to see like some machine companies getting massive selling for large amounts, like massive influx. Yeah, I think it's just going to grow up and be a big industry, where I
Well,
think we,
I love this aspect of it because we get to really sit down and you just said it earlier, like you're burning 14 hours a day, Monday through Friday, right? Plus, and when you really think about it, how much time do you give yourself if you were to put it on a balance? You still have a family, you still have like things to do. There's still you're always catching up. There's never a caught up moment, and it feels like that year's gonna drag, and it does. I mean, the next thing you know, it's holiday seasons or whatever, right?
oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's
and
just
then
yeah.
you're just yeah. So you're just like, what time do you really have to yourself to even almost like have a one on one with another fellow peer and just kind of like check in on someone and just be like, dude, how are you doing? Or like, how's this?
Oh
How's
yeah.
your motive? How's your drive? Where are you at? And it's really hard. So it's kind of dope just to this is like the mini conventions at the end of the convention where everyone's just chilling
Oh yeah.
and talking and like exchanging business cards and like, oh, you're from Boston, you're from Illinois, and it's like, dude, opening doors. And that's where I feel like this has been the one of the best things to have really start shining light. Like you see, like for instance, Joe Capobianco, he started
Yeah.
Not for Nothing,
Yep.
and I thought that was tight.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's really good because I think there's a lot we don't or we're not using a lot of the voice as
Right.
much as it should be. I mean, and that's why like I'm down for these kind of things way more than a reel, for instance. And I'm like, I think one, you can make a reel out of a podcast, but I also think it's better to have a full like a conversation. I don't like interviews where it's just one sided, where it's like kind of like, oh, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions and then we're gonna regurgitate those answers as like quick clips that feel like there's no background or there's no real like I don't know, there's no substance to it. So like I like these kind of things. I think conversations are can be very powerful, and I think it's a good way to get into the headspace
Right.
of all artists. And I think that we can all kind of like we can start to help shape the narrative of what's happening industry wise when sitting down and having a conversation and kind of letting people know where it's at. Because like before that, I mean, it was just kind of barreling out of control, and everyone's kind of like, I don't know what's happening. I'm just trying to get everyone's just doing what they're doing, and it's kind of like now, I don't know, just rambling. But I mean, I think that it's really helpful to do that to just kind of explore the headspace of everyone in the industry. Conventions are great for it. I love conventions. They're stressful, but I think they're kind of fun at the same time. It kind of like helps keep it like fresh and kind of like I don't know, it's very like reminiscent of like traditional tattoo values. So I
Right.
think it's really important. I think it's like kind of sad seeing people not know a lot of like other artists at all. Like some of the bigger people, like yeah, like you mentioned Joe Cap, and it's like
Right.
man, how many of these like I don't know how many of these dudes would have be like, what? Who's that? It's like
Yeah, exactly. Right.
just landscape shifts. I think all in all, right now the industry is like in a good space. I think it's like
Right.
I think it's just getting a little weird with some of the like Amazon shit. Yeah, I think that's pretty whack. Honestly, it's just important to like buy machines just to keep that alive though, and keep like those, that's how those dudes are like making a living. And it's like there's something beautiful about like handmade artisanal crafts. The culture of just throwing stuff away, computers or like phones, it's just like, oh, I need a new one every, like I don't know. I don't know if that's like the best, you know what I mean?
I was curious how you got into the sacred geometry. Like, what sparked interest into that style?
A combination of being in like Berkeley probably was a huge impetus, being that it's just like such a like intellectual like school area, and there's so much like different bookstores, and my mom's an author, and like my dad does like a lot of math stuff with sacred geometry and like astrology and everything. And basically I'd say the majority and psychedelics being there too, like
Nice.
that really open the mind to the
Sure.
questions, the like fundamental existentialist questions of like, who are we, where are we, what is reality, really the like matrix shattering like framework of like who, what, where, why, when, what is this, what am I, what am I doing here, what is this three-dimensional realm.
Absolutely.
Geometry just means to measure Earth and your surroundings. Sacred geometry just literally means is the sacred connotation of that is just the fact that they used the same mathematic principles behind sacred architecture, like temples, mosques, chapels, cathedrals. Like the awe-inspiring architecture globally is based off of these mathematic principles. So the connotation sacred arrives there, being that that's the sort of the start. And that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is that the fabric of reality is based on measurable order mathematics. So like plants grow in a way to maximize the photosynthesis by achieving the most light. They grow in a Fibonacci ratio. So each petal or leaf is in an array like out that it will still gather light while still having the most amount of petals. So it'll gain the most amount of light. So it'll photosynthesize and capture the most nutrients. So it's moving in a very structured, ordered, intelligent way. And so I think for me, that was the most profound and interesting phenomenon pretty much witnessable in existence, because truly with the presence of being like, what is reality? How does this come about? So trying to understand that from a fundamental level of like, this table is made of atoms and they're so densely vibrating that it appears to be solid. And then as you try to unpack reality as a whole,
Just really deep diving in all that concept and
yeah, I mean, then geometry and mathematics is sort of like the best answer that you're going to have with that.
right.
And I follow a very like kind of like strict principle that there's like no religion higher than truth, because if that bothers anyone, then they inherently don't believe whatever they believe is true. And that's inherently not negating anything. Like I'm very much like, I'm more of a like creationist bias, especially with everything I'm referring to. I mean, that's about is there's blatant evidence for intelligence, period. Like, I mean, there's nothing but the fact that we're having ordered, structured conversations and we're byproducts of nature means that nature is at least inherently a little bit intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe not like, shit. I mean, I say a lot of dumb shit. The word chaos is literally an ordered, structured word that is repeatable that you spell the same every time. There's nothing chaotic about it. If chaos was wanted to embody even its own hypocritical word, at least have it spelled different every time, at least have it make different syllables every time. The connotation for chaotic should be just like blah blah blah. Every time would be different. It would be inherently chaotic. It by default is not chaotic. It is an ordered, structured symbol that is repetitive, and it defines order in its own essence. So right. I'm a total I'm an order maximalist. Like I believe in there's nothing other than like order behind the universe, and I think that mathematics is the way to prove this, as we prove anything. So yeah, I think there's nothing.
Sculptors too. Can you imagine people back in the day, like Renaissance, Baroque era? Because you've traveled a lot, you've seen a lot.
Oh yeah, next level.
Can you imagine these sculptors that like a guy just chiseling away and had to have used some sort of geometry?
Oh yeah,
scale, right? And also imagine the chaos to create like Mozart, Beethoven, wild people, right?
Oh, for sure.
I've told people that's literally the best example of how to mortalize yourself. I mean, look at the statues that's still
next level, bro. I mean, honestly, that's a byproduct of less fucking screens,
Right.
This AD,
right. Yeah, that's a big,
like,
that's a big caveat.
Like, it's ADD inducing, dude. I've noticed it. Like the more now, I'm like, I used to be like, my focus was like top tier. And, like my focus on tats is great, but I mean, like, it's a lot of distractions. You open the phone and it's just
all hitting you, like, different angles.
Minutes. It's just like, okay, and it's just like the marble stuff is next level. I mean, I'm a huge like things have only gotten progressively less advanced. So like I'm a total like degress. Like I think that we've done nothing but like degress on a slow. There's been ebbs and flows. But the pyramids are more advanced technologically than anything we've built to that period. I literally will I think I saw one time like Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about how like the pyramids were like rudimentary or like, I don't know, primitive in architecture. And I was like, the mathematic principles of this building is so profound and so impossible to like really fathom that like the weight is the mass of Earth at scale. Like stuff like that is impossible, essentially. I mean, like we're talking about like the location is the speed of light to the 12th digit. I mean, like the entropy of that is not is essentially impossible. There's the arc angles of pi on one side, phi on the other. It's just like it's a perfect representation of a mathematical prowess. And I think that that's sort of what it was in a way as a time capsule to capture the knowledge of a time for eternity, essentially, to like withstand. Sure. So we could read it back and understand where they were at and what they were trying to say and some of their most profound principles about how reality works. And even in the simplicity of their mathematic structure of like the human body is a qubit. So like they used like from your hand, each digit in response to the subsequential digit is the golden ratio. So it's like the first two digits are golden ratio to the second, like 3, and so on and so forth. But so their qubit was essentially a hand to elbow distance, roughly. I think I don't know the figure 22.
Right. That's like the modern measuring tool,
Yeah, but it's like, and we kind of scoff at it, but like honestly, it's like it was showing you that everything that they used this measurement equivalent to was a golden ratio equivalent, because they're using golden proportion structure to build all of their structure. So then everything is has that put into it, and the level of symmetry is like we don't understand how. I mean, I've been there 3 or 4 times. It's like this stuff. It's like some of the concepts of like just hucking a copper ball at it a bunch of times to get an obelisk. I mean, some of this stuff is like actually like mind-bogglingly laughable, and there's no possible way. And some of these things are things that they say is how they achieve these things. Like literally, the largest obelisk in the world, one is still it's like half in the ground, and they basically say that they would just throw a copper ball at it
Sorry.
till like you make a hole, like make to like, and the copper alone is softer than the stone. It's like limestone, like basalt, and it's like just like not. It's like some of the stuff is just like a fallacy, like it's just
Yeah.
could not do, like you couldn't actually replicate that today. So it's like, but anyway, so like I think that a lot of the things we are seeing is including Baroque and like, I mean, some of these cathedrals, yeah, like, I mean, good luck, dude. I mean, you're talking about like
Yeah.
the level of like, you're talking about like, even talking about like tattoo industry, we're talking about like the largest group of creatives currently, probably globally. I mean, like in multidisciplinary creatives, right? Like who all paint or draw or sculpt or do 3D models. I mean, they're talking about like probably the widest group of creative individuals globally. I mean, there's probably 2, 3, 4 million tattooers now. I mean, that's probably makes up the largest percentile of like creative individuals. And like you take all of them together, you're probably not building the pyramids. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like no, like I
That's
don't
pretty
know.
bizarre to think, right? That's like, imagine the labor and
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows. I think that's kind of what keeps it interesting. But like, yeah, some of these cathedrals are mind-boggling. I was just in Austria and Germany, castles, and I don't know. The architecture is beyond inspiring. It's humbling to say the least. I think is the way to do it. Like
right. And
dedicate.
there's still a lot of that standing today. It just kind of shows you a lot of,
So
just
cool. But
it's
yeah,
it's rad, right? So walk us through this whole step by step thing, how you do this like a back piece where it's just crazy flow, the composition and the flow of everything.
yeah. I mean, I think I would say that like my process is basically I just try to be a decent listener, and just apply a lot of these principles of like body anatomy and flow. Like I really am super inspired by Japanese layout and composition. So like the full body suits, the one body one image thing was really kind of what's like so has always been like my biggest sort of like inspiration is bodysuits and like getting it to everything. I call one of the techniques I call the like infinity pool, where it's like it just goes forever. So like I don't like to have things like with skin on either side. So if it's going to be on
Right.
a forearm, I want it to take up like at least the totality of the forearm, if not like a little more. So
Yeah.
everything's always like it's always looking like beyond what it is. So it's just like kind of creating that infinity edge. So like that's like I've always really used that type of idea. And then yeah, just like a body anatomy and just knowing where things are going to break down like golden ratio wise. So instead of cutting them off anywhere that cuts the body off in like a very rigid way, unless it's on purpose, because sometimes anti-flow is a really cool principle. I mean, I read, Guy Aitchison's like reinventing the tattoo back in the day. And like, he's got like the whole idea of like anti-flow, where it's like you're doing stuff like horizontal or linear to cut through body like anatomy.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of a fun way to approach it too. Is like really just thinking outside the box and not looking at that many of other tattoos and just kind of asking the client like what they want to do and the why. I start with why. Like, okay, I kind of treat it as like a genie. I'm like, you got 3 wishes.
Right.
Where do you want it? What do you want? And why do you want it? And then they're like, okay, I want a sleeve. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you like? What do you want on it? And they're, well, I don't know. I like this you did, and I like this. And I'm like, okay. Why do you want it? And they're like, okay, well, I saw this, or I had this like ayahuasca experience, and I saw a fucking serpent wrapping around. And you're like, okay, cool. What about that are you most attracted to? And it's kind of like a process of elimination, trying to get to
Sure.
the core essence of what they really want to portray and what story they're trying to tell. So honestly, I would say it's more about being a listener and also applying, just trying to get to the why and get some substance, try to figure out what the meaning is, what the like, it's like mining. I don't know, like you're trying to like dig, there's like some gold in there, just like dig it away until you wash it off, and then you okay, like a diamond or whatever, like
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
like a process of removal more than anything. I just try to get to the core essence of what they really want, because I always like if they're happy with their tattoo and they're really proud of it, then they're going to speak highly, and it's going to like get more business, and they're going to feel better about themselves, and they're going to be happier. And then if they're happy, then like that's the goal. And I think beyond that, it's just like if there's a moment in that process that you can take a photograph of and like the tattoo looks cool, then like capture that image, but like I don't know. I don't draw anything beforehand. Nothing.
Okay.
I don't draw a single thing beforehand. I literally wait until I meet with them. The first session has a consultation sort of interwoven into the design process. Now that most of it's digital, it's very fast. So I can draw a lot of these patterns. And I have like a database of stuff I've already drawn that's like most of which I haven't tattooed. So it's like I'll have like 100 patterns ready to go. I'll have 100, and so I kind of make it into like there's a collage-esque aesthetic with that, where it's like, okay, say I have like $21 I've never done that are like ready that I like, that are based off a variety of things, and then a bunch of patterns, and then a bunch of shapes, and then a bunch of like specific imagery, and then I'll pull ideas off of what they want, and then we'll kind of like juxtapose it all together and kind of, it's like cooking more than like anything else, I guess. So it's like they're ingredients. That's the best analogy I can come up with, is that like if you've made pasta, like if you made a sauce, what it takes to make the sauce. You're gonna have the ingredients at the house. It's just more about like, okay, cool. You want this one to be a little spicier. You want this one to have like a creamy sauce. You want some pesto. And that's just,
Right. Yeah.
how you want it to be. But it's like, it's not like I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to go like grow apricots, to make tomatoes. It's like, this shit's not like I have a system. It's like, but yeah, a lot of times it's drawing on the body. Just like I freehand a lot more stuff than people probably expect. I've done like just whole sleeves where there's not a single stencil. You're just drawing the whole thing on, and like unless there's something really really symmetrical, and then I'll like lick a mandala or something, and then typically I'll just place one that I've already drawn like in a couple spots. That's usually how it works. But every single day is a completely different idea, where someone will want, and I'll try to approach it in a different way so that each piece kind of is its own style. Like I try to kind of repute styles and just like approach it as if that was the only tattoo I've ever done or the only tattoo I'm ever going to do, and just try to answer that call and try to remove my style. Like I don't really know what that might like what, I know there's like a style. I do mostly black, mostly a lot of dots, but like a lot of lines, shaded stuff, a little bit of everything in that vein. And it makes a feel, there's an emotion or response that, it can convey, but I'm trying not to be like totally pigeonholed into like, it's definitely, it can be challenging. Sometimes it feels like you don't have a voice when you're like,
Yeah, I was always curious from your work if you actually tailored, because a lot of this does look tailored to the client, right? So it's almost like they tell you this, if they have this emotional burden, or if they're going through this like this life-changing thing and they want something that represents this new birth, rebirth. And it's I was always curious if you had this kind of like a connection, because it's kind of hard, I'm sure, if somebody comes up to you and they're like, I like what you did here, this is kind of what I was thinking, but you're like, what do you want?
yeah, totally.
Like you give me the reference and you give me the idea, but let's just talk. Like, what is this for? Like you mentioned,
exactly.
like,
And that's what
right.
I, because it feels like I kind of, well, the only reason I ask them to show me stuff I've done is just to understand the common denominators. Because I'll be like, show me like 5 things, and then I can tell what like visually they're attracted to. Like, okay, that they're all negative space. Oh, okay, they're all like decorative, sort of like henna mendy, like Eastern. Oh,
Right.
they're all very geometric. Like there'll be a common denominator that like tells me stylistically what to like embrace and what to kind of like, sometimes there'll be these hard negative kind of like
Yeah.
cuts. Sometimes there will not be, and that's like a very like polarizing look. Like women, it's like more like it's a slightly more decorative, or like more like flowy, curvy shapes, more mandala-y, sometimes more
Right.
floral, and sometimes dudes.
Complimentary though, it compliments. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I really let them kind of steer, it's like moderately omakase, where it's like, okay, just tell me 3 things, like tell me what you do like, and then kind of like we'll just kind of go from there. And it's honestly, it's really pretty easy, and it's really pretty fast, and I never seem to have an issue getting from zero to like a full design concept, almost no matter how big it is, within like 4 hours. It's pretty much like, like a 2 to 4 hour max, we're getting something on there. So
Wow.
it's like half of the first day of the whole project. I also try not to like design the entire thing, because most of my work is compartmentalizable or modular, being that like I don't necessarily need, like if someone wants a bodysuit, I don't need to design the entire
Right.
bodysuit.
It looks like a lot of your stuff adapts to the next piece and the next
It
piece.
does, yeah. It's almost
Right.
like a puzzle, like
Right.
do something. if you leave it in a certain way, like if you leave, as long as you leave the next one like with like an outlined border, you can just keep adding.
Long.
And
Yeah.
then if you don't, it's fine as long as you know to create like a negative space frame.
Bridge
It's a
everything.
puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a puzzle. So it's
Right.
like as long as you don't leave the puzzle in a way that's just like super awkward, and then like you're like, okay, like how am I gonna?
Right.
Sometimes it's like kind of though it can be creative if you get a little weird with it. So it's like I don't know. I think there's so many possibilities with art. You can literally do anything. So it's
Right.
just I like to be explorative and kind of creative in that sense. Like there's nothing I've never turned anyone down with an idea. If you were like, yo, I want like a bunch of angels, I'd be like, fire, let's go. Like if you
Good.
were like,
Yeah.
like I'm really open to like doing new stuff. Like I would be into like virtually anything. There's not really any time that like I don't do a lot of color anymore. I used to do like nothing but color for a while.
Yeah.
Like 2006, 7 was probably like no black, only color. It was like kind of like
Right.
people that felt like progressive, or that felt like boundary shattering. And like now I'm like more black is more black.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, like which is everyone said back then. So honestly, I've continuously just it seems like everything they said out the gate was kind of true. I don't know. My it's like don't line with like a 900 round liner, like
Right,
like
dude. Yeah.
so big. Line
Yeah.
with like a 9 at most, bro. You really don't need those 14s, like which I didn't. I was like, oh come on, I'm gonna do big bold until like that wasn't even that long ago where I was kind of like, I could probably line everything with like a straight 7 and then double it up if it like really needed to be bigger. Or
Sure.
like, I mean, I use threes for like 99% of everything I'm doing is a 3.
That's wild.
Like I will set up like 5 different threes because I feel like they aren't for dots. I feel like I have the hardest time with dots where it's like I just want it to be like a perfect dot.
Yeah.
Like the perfect incision is like the smaller size the needle and the longer the taper, but the more coverage and the more like saturation is like with like a 5, like a bigger needle. So it's like I'll use a 0.06, 0.08, 0.10, 0.12. Like I will sometimes set up like 6 threes and a 4 and like a bug pin 5 and be like,
Right. Yeah.
just
Doing
like,
the
so like I don't know, mad scientist for
right.
sure. Try to like, so yeah, I'm just open to experimenting and trying
How,
to do things.
like, what experience have you gone through with these people that they kind of come out with this healing process, like not the tattoo healing, like the spiritual thing, right? Because while they're with you, this experience, like, what have you personally seen as far as someone to tell you, like, man, this tattoo, whether you guys come to the finish of a project, a back, a sleeve, and then they just you feel that emotional change, or that like the belief of tattoos really are healing for someone.
Mostly they're pretty tired after like 2 or 3
Right.
in a row, but I definitely see that there's like tattooing is a tremendous like tool for like empowerment.
Sure.
Like people feel way more confident, and I feel like you can tell people use it as like an amulet or a talisman or as like a cloak of armor sort of. So it's like that kind of like solidifies and sort of ends up giving people a lot of closure, I think, in a way though. So I feel like sometimes with those things it's more just like it just kind of like seals the deal, and then like it kind of like closes that chapter for them. It's like there's a climax to whatever event. Like say it was like a experience of like like some psychedelic experience, and they want to remember it, and those things are so fleeting that it's like they want to remember how transmutational that or transcendental that experience was. So they kind of want to like solidify that moment. And I think tattooing really does just help kind of give people closure in that way and kind of solidify the moment. Like whether it's like a dog that passed away and they want to get that tattooed, sometimes that's sort of like it's a way to like give something back to like the experience in like like the pain kind of helps alleviate a lot of it. Just I think it puts people into the now. Getting tattooed is painful, and it puts people into the present. There's nothing
Right.
that draws you into the present moment as strongly as getting tattooed, because sometimes it's like you don't want to be in the present moment. It's like that Fight Club scene where he's like,
Right. Right.
"I'm
Right.
going to the happy place," and he's like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Be
Right.
here now," and it's like,
Be
I don't
here
know if that's
present.
why,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like being present, like, and I think those things are all they only exist in the past So it's like if they had an experience and it was negative, it's in the past. Or if it's an experience that was positive, it still exists in the past. And if it's an experience of anxiety that's living somewhere in their future that they're worried about, the tattooing has a way of bringing people into the current present moment. And that applies to all kinds of tattooing, not just like tattooing like sacred spiritual imagery. It just happens to be the a lot what people who are attracted to my work are aligned with. They're clearly picking up something I'm putting down, and we're like seeing something from this other like side or this like dimensional reality or whatever.
Sure.
But I think I've just seen a lot of just empowerment. A lot of these people are just like, I don't know, they're just specimens of humans. Dude, they're shredded, have zero tats, like they like thought about this for like their entire life as adults. And then they're like, okay, I am now finally ready to get a tattoo. I will get a sleeve. And you're like, okay, no pressure, bro. I got you. You know, it's like,
Right. Yeah.
they're like, I can't, they're like,
Jacked.
okay.
Yeah.
It's like, has to feel line right with my body. Honestly, I think a byproduct of a lot of it is that they're really like attention focused A type of individuals also. And it's like me just like being flexible and leaning into it and being like, yeah, dude, sure, I can move it like 900 times if you want to move it like a little bit. Like,
For sure. Yeah.
you know, like, okay, yeah, one up, down, move. Let's make it right, you know, like
Right.
level, you know. It's like at the same time, I'm just like, okay, if it lands in its resting state, horizontally level and like vertically level, it's like, and it's like aligns with the body, it's gonna come out pretty like
It's
and,
so,
and
so yeah.
you know, so it's like as long as you capture a lot of the normal traditional like rules, like don't have it going backwards, don't have faces going the wrong way,
Right.
don't have ships sailing away,
Right.
don't
Sailing
have,
away. Yeah.
don't have koi fish swimming down, like don't have dragon's head facing down, like keep some of the rules in the right places, don't mix
Right.
seasons, you know, like keep some of the stuff logical, like it ends up as a whole reading pretty clean. And I think that's a lot of stuff where it's like the old stuff's smart, dude. They were doing it so long. They knew what they were doing. They like it's a learned process. So I
For
think
sure.
just trying to like people assuming everything now is so much better out the gate. It's like it's not, you know, always. Some of
So
it's
the technology of tattoos and the art of tattoos has definitely risen. The bar has risen. The standard has gone up, right? How have you kept that where you take on a piece and it's almost like, because you mentioned earlier about the challenges, right? The problem solving. And within your own work, though, artist integrity to push it and push yourself. And maybe sometimes, have you ever hit that wall where you're like, damn, this one's a tough one? Has that, because I mean, your artwork like alone
daily,
is,
bro.
yeah, I was gonna say
daily. Like if I'm not like kind of like eyes aren't like kind of on fire, like I mean, I'm kind of like a workaholic, like masochistic, like I mean, I'm extremely competitive,
for
like
sure.
it's like with me and just in general, like I'm like I always eat like bite off more than I can chew. I'm always like, yeah, we can knock that out, you know. But I'm using a needle the size of a human hair, so it's just like filling
Yeah.
them in and trying to do a different tone and then a different tone and a little fade. And it's like you just be so in the zone, and then you realize you got like 6 inches
chunk,
like
yeah.
4 hours, and you're like sweating, stencil on your face, trying to
Yeah.
so I'll be switching out machines, you know, like, okay, well, yo, maybe I need a longer stroke. So like blast that in, but oh, now it's spitting more because it's like there's more force and not enough precision. So I'm like, okay, now I need a really, really shorter stroke. So it's faster. But then it's like feels like it's like the cycling. So I just get super neurotic about like machines, equipment, pigment, like I buy everything. So like, I guess like I'm a great tattoo consumer. I'm keeping all the old dudes with machines alive, you know, about like
Yeah.
all of them, you know, I got a drawer the size of a. I think also because I got robbed one time and lost all my stuff when I was coming up.
Oh, damn.
All my first machines, you know, I was in Oakland and I had like maybe like 10 machines, maybe five to, I don't know, 7 to 10 machines that were like the ones that I got like made, like first ones that were out of the apprenticeship. All the machines, you know, the real sentimental ones. And yeah, I got robbed of all that
What was the
stuff.
lineup like? Like what was
Aaron
your
Kane, some
okay.
Dringenbergs. They were definitely in there that I remember off top. One I made it with the Soba dude at Pulse in Massachusetts. That one was gone. I think the first two I ever had. Thinking back about them, they were. I'm pretty sure there were some Paco Rolands, like or some knockoff Paco Rolands off like either Cam or some like the first ones that were like those ones were. Whew, not
Yeah.
it, but like they like. I mean, I kind of remember one of the ones I really missed that went missing was like a Dringenberg had like some pink coils, some short coils. Dringenberg like must have been from like '03 or '02.
Wow.
I don't remember the frame. It was blued steel. That thing was pretty sick. It was super smooth.
That sucks, dude. It had to be in
Yeah.
Oakland too, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, big surprise, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's
It's
who
rough
like. I mean, at least I didn't leave it in my car. I wasn't like one of those. I mean, that happens to everybody out there. I feel
for
bad for him.
sure.
My buddy Arturo got when his rental car jacked, like smashed, and they grabbed his tattoo bag out of there, and he had a bunch of cool machines in there, some norms and stuff, some like ones he gave him, and those got jacked. I ended up giving him a like a Thunder or something to like that I had at the time. That the benefit of a lot of the pens and shit is that you can just order an exact another one. So if you lose like, well,
Yeah.
I will just order the same exact one. So I mean,
Plug
there's
and
some,
play. Right.
it does lack the like sentimental connection you can have to some of the
Dude.
tools, which I really like. You know, like um
I think the ones I hold dearest are those like where a buddy will give me a coil or
yeah,
something.
yeah, no, for
You know,
sure.
or like Charlie Roberts. I have a nickel plated, you know, and also
Yeah,
like the
dude.
Dringerbergs and like
Exactly. Where there's some that you're like, yo, like I got a bunch of like meteorite Aaron Canes he made me that are
yeah,
like those
that's
aren't going nowhere. Those are stay, you know, they're like
that's how close to the heart, right? That's in
he
the
won't even
safe.
he didn't want to even post. He was like, yo, I'm not posting these because I don't want people to ask me for this. Like I was like, all
Right.
right. It's like this shit like that. Like there's some I got one that's made of solid silver. He made it was like and the silver piece was a gift, and then Aaron made the machine out of solid silver of the silver that I had, and like it has an Egyptian whole scene on it. It's like so like the whole machine is just solid silver. It rattles like crazy because silver is not
Yeah.
so it's like has that tin kind of like
Yeah, a little ting on the yeah.
yeah. Ooh, I mean that thing like is like a fucking ring like give you a headache, but like it's sick, you know. Like I mean I
Right.
used that actually in that video in the pyramid because it's like an Egyptian. So like, yeah, I don't know. I love all the like I love the meaning, you know. So I love the why behind all this stuff, you know. Some of my favorite ones right now, coil wise, is Corey Rogers. Some of those and Adam Safari and Corey Rogers ones are just and they're some shredders. I mean, those things rip, dude.
Yeah,
Uh,
those things are
I
beasts,
use a
man.
lot of, like honestly, I use a lot of like Dave Cubans too, and like we're the direct driver we're making are great for like all the dots and little like teeny lines. And I've been using like I've been using the Akis pen since I got back from Germany. That's pretty fun. You can do a lot of adjustments on that. It's pretty cool. I've been messing around with that, trying to see if there's like just trying to mess around, dude, see what's up. But like I super nerd out on the machine stuff.
So
Like
the machines that you're building though, are they who's helping out with like the like
my
what
friend me and Andrea are doing. I did all the like measurements of all the direct drive stuff and all the like math of like where the like all the needle bar and all the vices and all the everything is like going to land and all the cam size and everything. And then we designed it with like a triangular cam, so it has like a kind of asymmetrical hit, which is kind of interesting. That way it has like a more like there's always more out of the skin. Well, it switches, right? So it's like the ratio is just non-linear, like non perfectly cyclical. Like it's cyclical in its delivery, but it's asymmetrically weighted. So it pulls out of the skin faster because there's only one in there and then drops in the skin.
because
But
you have
anyway,
like you have the eco razors
yeah, yeah, we
and
have a biodegradable tattoo supply line. None of that's really available anymore because it all damn near biodegraded.
yeah, right. It's all
Fun
that was
story.
the purpose. Okay.
Oh man, dude! I mean, I've told that story a bunch, but like, yeah. So I started this. I had this genius idea to make like every single tattoo supply out of biodegradable, compostable like materials, which made sense. It was cool. It's like logical. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do my part to reduce the like waste in tattooing. Okay, and like maybe it'll like make a buck. So I make this. I end up ordering like I find all these manufacturers, end up ordering all these supplies, and then we're talking like 1 ton per item, like
Wow.
2,000 pounds per item, 2,000 pounds of razors, 2,000 pounds of saran wrap, 2,000 pounds of cups, 2,000 pounds of ink caps. I mean, like 10 tons of biodegradable tattoo supplies,
Nice.
like two 40-foot shipping containers about filled, all branded, you know. Well, so I get all this stuff in and I put it up, I build the website out, I put it up there, and it's probably, I don't know, February 2020, right? And I'm like, all right, boom, dude, I'm gonna put this shit out on like Valentine's Day. Well, it comes about like March 1st, and it's like COVID lockdowns and everything, and basically nobody's tattooing for like a year or two, you know. So I
Oh
basically,
yeah.
all my stuff was in a warehouse just sitting there, and it damn near all melted
No way.
because it like biodegrades. It's like you can't just sit
Yeah, you
there, but
gotta
it's
have
like
that
half of the
like
stuff literally biodegraded and was like had to get thrown away. And then yeah, I was paying the fulfillment center like monthly to like ship items out, and we were shipping like one box out every like 2 weeks or a month or so, and a box like $20 is like like it's costing me like 1,200 a month just in shipping to store them at a place. That was like probably another like 2 grand. Yeah. That was one of the like most straight business fails.
Learning hard lesson.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like I do some entrepreneur shit, so I try doing some like I take chances, if it's not from like I'm not like I'm not risk averse at all. Like I take I think tattooing too. I mean, you're drawing on people forever, and they're like saying, "Hey, I want X, Y, and Z," and you're like, "Okay," and so you're making these on the second decisions that are like they're just risks, so you have to be comfortable making decisions and taking risks. So yeah, I'm not risk averse, and but that was a total failure. I still use whatever, I've been using what was left, like for my own process for like the past like 5 years. I mean, I've had enough supplies I still got like cups, razors, pens. I still got those for probably the rest of my damn career,
Yeah.
The saran wrap melted, the bottle bags melted, the clip cord covers melted. They just shredded kind of. So like I don't know if any of these other like a lot of companies now you see pretty much every supply company is offering their own biodegradable tattoo supply line, which it just happens. It's like but like I was like it gave everybody like sort of chance to catch up. And then so I don't know if they've found any of those problems also yet, or maybe they were smart and put them in a climate controlled warehouse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That would be the way. Right, that would be the way around it. Yeah.
Like I basically also thought it was climate controlled, but then we moved from one to one that wasn't. I think when we moved to Texas, and I think it basically just was so hot in the summer that it just melted like a couple 1,000 pounds worth of stuff. So it just became useless. It was out in it was like just probably in like a storage container out here. So anyway, took an L on that one.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, technically we still have this stuff, but I don't really like. I'm moving into more of like the machines, and I'm honestly doing the machines very small batch too, just artisanal, like handmade. We're just getting all of the, just doing it small.
So they're going to be still like just like rotary, right? Are you going to do the coil stuff or?
Yeah, we might release a coil. We might release a pen. I just want to figure out a way to make it cool or do something new. I don't want to just make stuff that's just like redundant. The direct
I've seen the machine right now. It looks.
Yeah, it's a direct drive. It's pretty. It's great for.
Yeah, it's dope.
It works great with cartridges and standard needles. So I'll kind of use it depending on if I'm setting up coils and using standards. I'll use the direct drive with standards also to do like a lot of like stipple stuff or a lot of like bigger mag. It's kind of good for either one. Like it kind of is great for like black fill with like it's a pretty high RPM, like torque little motor. So they're cool. They're tiny. They're really a lot smaller than people think. They're like teeny tiny. So it's like super light. I actually like heavy machines. So I'll use like a steel, like cartridge grip, or I'll use like steel grips still with Black Claw has a lot of like steel tubes.
The steel tube, yeah.
But just the tube, so you can put those in like a steel grip and then wrap that all up and then toss the tube. It's kind of the move, honestly.
It's really cool. I've used one and they're so like, it brings you that nostalgia.
Well, you can put it in a real steel grip again. You can put it like
that weight.
I like I just do so much line work or dot work. And the dot work, it's like you really want that weight so you're not like sitting there pushing it for all day, every day. That's the thing. I mean, I'm really lucky to not get carpal tunnel or
carpal tunnel, yeah.
Knock on wood. I mean, I luckily don't really have any issue with that, but I don't know. It comes for you though.
But you do take a lot of self-care, right?
I drink a lot of coffee, like a lot. I eat really good. I eat like steaks. I pretty much am like damn near like I'm out here in Texas. I'm on that like carnivore diet, damn near Paul Saladino type vibe. I mean, I take like vitamins, but like I pretty much I'm like a old like I'm kind of old school mentality in a lot of ways. Like I don't know, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I just go to work. I mean, I literally tattoo like.
No, I was curious if you like because.
I need to stretch, dude. I'm stiff as a board, probably. I need to get some yoga in. But if people are thinking, if they're out there imagining that I'm like out there doing yoga every day, they're definitely. I
Yeah, I
wake
was curious if you
up,
woke up and like,
I take a shower,
suspended.
and that's like most of the days, if I even have time, because I got an hour commute now. So like most of the time, I like took a shower and then like and like drank a coffee on the way to work, and then we'll drink another coffee. I usually don't eat until like 3 or 4, so that is kind of technically like an intermittent fast.
You fast, yeah. Not by choice.
Yeah, it's like I'm not. Oh, yeah, I'll be hitting my intermittent fast. I'll be like doing that cold shower. I'm like, whoa, chill. And then like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing the cold plunges. No,
Right,
no.
right.
I
Yeah.
hate this song. I ain't got time for none of that shit, dude. I wake
It's
up,
like, no, dude, I just get up and get it.
take a shower, I drink a cold brew black coffee. I drive to work. I then tattoo them until like I am about to pass out. Then I will order food, and like it'll be something nice probably that we have around. Like and then like, yeah, I'll tattoo the rest of the day until like maybe like 8. I do what my biggest thing I will say that is like a total hack that I highly recommend is an end time to the session. Like I got a start and end time.
Like you
That
have to like for sure put an end
you gotta
time.
have a cap on that shit. So I
Okay.
do like 11 to 7. I used to do 10 to 8. Prior to that, it would be like 9 a.m. to like 2 a.m. Like no. Then I was like, no. We're doing 11 to 7. So I get there at about 10, set everything up. Then I'm there 11 to about 7, and then they leave, and then I clean everything up, break down. So I'm still there like damn 10 to 10.
Right.
Something. But
Right.
it's like you got to have like sort of some boundaries. Plus an hour there and an hour back right now. So it's like, I'll be leaving at 8, get
And
there.
the clients are they just stay nearby, or do you still have this place where you
Yeah,
can?
no, they just stay nearby. Yeah. We actually never got up to speed with the Airbnb thing. And
Okay.
honestly, I'm kind of glad that would have been, that's a lot of delegation, management on like swapping out sheets. And then, like, how are they going to swap out sheets if they like bleed on them? And like, I don't know, I gotta like throw those sheets out. No, this is a lot. I was like, I'm really ambitious. I can be ambitious and kind of like, I thought as it was like starting to become more and more real, I was seeing a lot more of the issues and problems and pitfalls. And hopefully people can learn that if they're thinking this is a cool idea to make like a tattoo retreat center, that there's a lot of stuff to think through.
Right.
And you're a lot of capital, so have fun with that idea. Because it's cool, but
How was that experience? Like when you did, because you fully did a retreat center where you had.
built it all out, but we never had anyone stay there. Not a single
Okay.
night did anyone sleep on the property or anything. So like we did not get to that. We built the glass pyramid, and we ended up using that as like to have a sound bath, to do like an eclipse ceremony, to do some tattoos in the pyramid, and that was really cool. But we ended up using it as just like a additional like atrium. And I was going to build multiple ones, but then I kind of ran into a bunch of the infrastructural issues with the like the septic situation slowed the process down. So getting approval for the septic for like a commercial septic, it took like a year. So like a year of paying mortgage on this place and having it all up in the air, and it was just like it's just kind of burnt through the like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a little bit easier. I definitely like.
Yeah, for some reason I thought maybe you had like a full on like operation of at least throwing one event to have almost like the
Oh,
tattoo gathering or
yeah, we were gonna maybe throw like events, but it was more like gonna be clients were gonna stay there, and it was just gonna be sort of like an additional revenue stream, and capturing some of that net. Like they're gonna like 9 out of 10 of my clients are flying in or traveling in, so having them stay on site was like they're getting an Airbnb or they're getting a hotel anyway.
right.
So it seemed like if you factor in 4 to 5 nights per week at like whatever the rate was, it was like it felt like a loss to not try to capture that.
For
But
sure.
then as I like built that out into the business model, I was kind of realizing that what it was going to take to do that. Honestly, there's just a lot of cheap accommodations in the area. So I was like,
The only time I ever heard of someone doing that was Carl Grace was the first time I heard.
yeah, totally. Yeah, that's my boy. I
Yeah,
mean,
they went to North Carolina.
yeah. Me and Carl are super close. So yeah, he's always been a big inspiration in a lot of the stuff he's doing. He got me, like pumped on just like can't be stopped energy. So
Right,
me
for
and Carl
sure.
are like definitely the same type of total workaholic maniacs. And
He's
I would
so
say
cool, dude. He's like such a gangster, bro.
oh yeah. Carl's one of my like, dearest, like that's my boy, dude. So like
Yeah.
I would say that it's kind of funny because like I would say that's the only dude I know really who matches the amount of like, I don't know, like can't be stopped. Like tattoo is just brute force, trying to
For sure.
accomplish the goal of like tattooing through brute force and dedication and time and just like sweat equity, So
For
I
sure.
think I'd say that Carl really inspires me to, if I ever feel like tired or something like that, it's like can't be stopped, bro.
Yeah, you
Like
can't be
it's
stopped.
like Carl's like the little like angel and devil. They're just like a little angel and devil with Carl's face
Little
on it.
mini
He's like,
Carls, yeah.
can't be stopped, dog.
Yeah.
Living correctly, dog. I'm like, oh yeah, you're
Right,
right,
right. No, but I
bro.
love that because when I saw that he was, he was gonna do this whole like private experience for his clients, I was just thinking, man, that's pretty, that's genius just to have him just stay, have a spot to
He's got the
stay.
spot in the Carolinas where he's doing it. Like he got it to work. He's got a good little system with it.
Yeah.
It's super cool. It's smart. So yeah, it's like it definitely. I'm not saying it can't work. It just was like there's a lot of juice that needs. It's like a lot of squeezing of a bunch of to get that orange juice. It's a lot of oranges, a lot of variables, a lot of processes, and I just bit off a lot with the project because it wasn't just going to be that. I mean, I was trying to build like the temple of sacred geometry. I wanted to build like a full on like sacred geometry temple. It was a little bit of a field of dreams type situation, but there was sort of a shift when I just felt like it was this me building. I don't know, kind of it was just like I don't know if it was really about anybody else or if it was kind of just this like ego thing of like me building like this edifice of like greatness where it's like I'm building this for like me. And it kind of just felt like it was going to be a mausoleum, tell you the truth. Like I kind of felt like I was just building my like grave. Like, yo, I'm gonna
Yeah.
build this temple that like will represent my like dedication to the craft. And it's like,
You're
and
just
I'm like
withering to the
buried
bone.
under the motherfucker, like I'm
Right,
be
right.
like I'm building my own mausoleum. So like I felt like it went from being like this, it wasn't about nobody else though, so I didn't feel like it was really altruistic. And the only way I could have made it work is if I made it like a legitimate like nonprofit. And I just felt like there was no way I could really do that and be able to fund it. And I was like, it just there was a way. There's always a way. I don't know. I made the decision to focus more on the app and make it something that I could actually give geometry and the ability to people to make geometry, give away the
The
tool.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah, like I wanted to give what would have helped me at that time in the beginning, like get anywhere. Like I feel like if I would have had this type of app back in the day, it would have closed the gap so much faster. It would have saved like a decade off my life to be able to make geometry stuff that quickly and easily and efficiently that like it would have kind of sped up the process of where you could take it. So for me, it felt like a little bit more of a like
When did you
just
launch? When did you launch that project?
I mean, I started working on this in probably 2015. So it's been a nightmare. Honestly, the app thing has been hard. These projects have all been challenging. Like, I think it
Right.
takes, even looking at tattooing, it's like, well, I've been tattooing like 20 years. So it's like, I now kind of think like, fuck, it takes about 20 years to do anything. And I'm like, at least 10. So
Right.
I'm like, well, we've been doing the app. I started 2015, 2016, maybe getting different developers and like working on like, I was in the Bay Area. So it was a lot of trades. So it was like,
Mhm.
say like I do a sleeve on a guy and it's like, oh, he's a dev. I'm like, hey, can you do an app? Like, what? Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Let me like tattoo you and you can work on it. And then like, then they reach that point where they're like, hey, I actually don't know if I can. And I'm like, well, that's cool because I already gave you a sleeve. Sick, thanks, dude.
Man, what
Uh,
the hell?
yeah, so I had a bunch of failures on that one, So it's like, and then yeah, just the app was. I mean, the app is ants, dude. I mean, whew, I think it's like, I mean, in that thing, definitely six figures plus on the app trying to make that thing work. And it's, I'll occasionally have people be like, oh, it's $10 a month. Like, dude, I don't know. And I'm like, I mean, I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what am I supposed to do? like,
Yeah, you got to think,
I
man.
put
This is
dedication.
literally another tool you can add the way you see a brush for Procreate. This is
Exactly.
you know what I mean? You're gonna buy a brush pack. You can get
Oh,
something that's gonna.
absolutely. I'm trying to build from the ground up the entire architecture to do it in a different way. So it would be like designing basically Procreate from scratch because we're doing like it produces, you can produce in vector, which is really cool. So you can make like graphics and t-shirts and prints. So it's not like a tattoo app. It's just an app for artists. So it's like
Yeah.
graphic designers, painters. It really is just a tool for everyone who likes sacred geometry to learn more about it. There's like information sections where you can click the little light bulb and it'll give you a little rundown on what the shapes mean. And there's a lot of interoperability. So that's one of the things that's really been challenging is allowing you to have a library or index of geometric shapes that you can use as is standalone, but then you can also apply those symmetries. So you can have a radial or spiral or like hexagon, like matrix, or like isometric grids, or like, you can apply any symmetry to any shape to any tool. So they're just they're divisible parameters that you can use interoperably. There's also three-dimensional objects. So we're going to do like object files, like, so you can do all the platonic solids right now in 3D, which is cool.
Oh, cool.
So you can actually use them in three-dimensional, like as an object file. And then you could open that into ZBrush, or you could open it into like, I don't know, CAD or something. So you could actually make a model, like you could make a physical object, like a sculpture.
Yeah, 3D print.
Yeah, like we're doing a lot more than just apply, like being able to produce like JPEGs to use as reference for tattoos, or like, so it's a more in-depth process. So yeah, it's one that I'm most passionate about right now, because it feels also like something that will be able to like exist sort of in parallel to tattooing. Right. It's like you can use that if I'm not here. I'm not selling time.
Right.
Like, and that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, because as time is like our greatest resource, we just see it diminishing like in response to like trying to maximize it at the same time, so it's burning the candle at both ends. Right, so that's really what it is, and I feel like I've definitely been the expert burning candle at all ends.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's wicks all over that thing,
Yeah. How's it your perspective as far as, where you started to being exposed to these, you've tattooed this high caliber of people, and it's like these experiences. You've had like the sessions with Chris Hemsworth, Usher.
Yeah.
How was this? Do you just get like
everybody's been cool. I was living in LA for a while. I was born in LA, so it's like,
sure.
You'll see these dudes. Like I was on a bird scooter and I ran into Ben Affleck, and he's like smoking a cigarette, looking like the meme where he's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, I literally just ran into Batman, and I'm like, and he's like waiting for his chick to come get in a smoothie, because the shop was on Abbot Kinney. So,
okay.
You would see pretty much all of those dudes downstairs.
What shop was that? Was that the previous?
That was one of the little like Sri Yantra one that I had with Cleo Vadenstrom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so me and her had a private studio on Abbot Kinney for a while. And that was like, it was upstairs in a loft. So it was like kind of like a secret space. It was cool. It had like a rooftop patio. It was a vibe. That was nice there, dude. Walk to the beach. I lived like literally on the beach. It was chill. That was like 2019. She was nice.
Yeah.
But then it got kind of not that nice. But like, yeah, so, Usher was cool. Like, I only tattooed him once. I did the back of his head. He was just like watching I think it was like a football game or something. He was like,
sure.
The back of the head hurts, dude. I was trying to get that on there, so it was like, it's all heavy line work on the back of the neck and head. Like, I don't know. So we didn't really talk too much. We talked about, he went to Burning Man and stuff a couple times. Sure. I actually hadn't even gone to Burning Man at the time. I went after that. But yeah, he was chill, pretty quiet, so it wasn't really anything too crazy. Hemsworth is totally like like solid, like, Australian, class, like, oh, mate, you want a beer or something? Like total, like a bro, like a cool bro, like super chill, down to earth, all cool, tattooed him like 3 times.
But you actually did like one of
they're little, on him, it was like little. They gotta like, he's got to mostly cover all that stuff up, for like shooting. So like, sure. It's like he wanted to get something big, but it's like kind of like it's all time for him that they got to cover up and like do makeup on it. So it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's not that exciting, like.
Yeah, no, I could see like some people actually being open to getting like, again, like another staple piece, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah, for
where
sure.
It's like, this is your signature mark. This is your like.
Yeah, honestly, they were pretty little,
Yeah.
A lot of the like celebrities or whatever, it's like mostly small pieces, because it's just like the nature of a lot of that Hollywood stuff, like getting little stuff, That's why a lot of the guys like what's his name, thrives with the little tats on celebrities, like my boy John Boy, who I really like. He's fun. Yeah. He's dude. He's crushed it. Business model is top tier, dude, from an entrepreneurial standpoint.
For sure.
top of the line business model, but like, I would feel artistically unstimulated, but like more power to him. He's a cool dude. I've had fun every time I was at Bang Bangs, and that was back when he was working there.
Yeah.
I was like in the good, like the I don't know, a very like New York. I love New York. In terms of like I've had nothing but great experiences tattooing in New York. That first shop I ever worked at out there was Invisible, and that was so cool. That was like such a big deal to me at the time too, because that was probably like 2012 or something. I had only been tattooing a little while. Troy was also from Oakland, so it was like I got introduced to him from like my friend's mom. It was like,
Yeah.
just like started, and I was like,
Right.
well, I'm in New York tattooing it invisible. This is like super hard. So like
Yeah.
that meant a lot to me at the time. And it still does. But like I don't think he's got the shop. But like, yeah, New York's cool. Like I don't know, tattooing's beautiful, bro. Like that's like my entire life now. It's like, I mean, I started when I was like 17. I'm 38. Like I don't know anything but tattoos. I don't know anything
Right.
but tattooing. Like
And so this reset, because you wait, 2 months ago you sold the ranch, and now
yeah,
you're,
probably something like that.
and
Maybe.
then and so how like you just reset to this
We just got
location.
a normal shop in Austin. It's a little studio. It's probably semi-temporary. I got a short lease on it. Honestly, it's just a landing spot. I'm trying to actually potentially buy another spot in town in Wimberley. If I get this spot, I don't know. We got a potential spot lined up. I'm talking to the realtor about maybe buying it or maybe leasing it. I would like it to be a more long-term thing. I bought the house that I'm at in Wimberley, so we're not going anywhere. We're like gonna stay here. It's
Yeah,
for
planted.
yeah, as far as now, we'll have a conversation in like 2 years. I'll be in Tokyo. I'll be like, yo, bro, Tokyo's sick. So I don't know. I don't sit still.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of laughed when we were talking about like meditation for a second, and I'm like, bro, I meditated like 10 times in my life probably.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was just again like that's just like the misconception of someone, right?
well, it's not that I don't feel like there's a lot of validity to it. I had a really powerful experience every time I've meditated. Maybe that's why I like don't feel like I'm not trying to have one of those types of experiences right now. I'm like trying to
Yeah, knock on that door. Yeah, yeah.
it's like doing mushrooms or like DMT or something. It's like, no, I'm not like doing DMT every day,
For
like I'm
sure, for
not
sure.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I have done all those things, like for sure.
Right.
They're super profound experiences. But like maybe I should. I mean, like maybe I should meditate more. I should probably do more yoga and more meditation and probably some more DMT. Dude, I probably do
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
But like, I don't know if people are thinking that that's like I'm just out here like in like a like I think they think it's like what's the name of the spot in Doctor Strange where
Oh, sure, sure. Where it's like this,
Karmatage.
yeah.
Karmatage. Yeah, they probably think it's like Karmatage. That's
Like you're
fire.
some Buddhist monk. You're like,
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I kind of hope people think that. They might not. I don't know what they think, but like I don't think that much about what people think. But if they were to think about it, I hope they imagine my studio is like Karmatage. That's what it should feel like.
right. That's the
Uh,
vibe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it kind of does musically and like incense wise and like yeah. So if anyone's out there wondering like what the tattoo experience is going to be like, it's going to be if like a guy from the Bay Area, from like Oakland or something, was trying to make his shop feel like Karmitage.
Right on. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
would be
Because again,
probably
that's like this misconception of
yeah.
oh, does he meditate? Does he cold plunge?
I mean,
Does
like it's not that I like don't think those things are good, even though I
right,
heard
right.
like plunging can kind of like reduce your ability to like gain muscle mass, whatever. I don't work out either, so that's not something I know about. But I don't know, man. I don't have time to do other stuff. I travel a lot though. That's my
Yeah.
biggest passion is traveling. So like that is all like I just honestly and like all of the math, the geometry, all of the like sacred stuff and like the belief in like reality and traveling and seeing the world, that's all like 100% dialed in and true. I
Right.
just think sometimes people kind of like they create their own reality and they kind of have preconceived notions. And people have preconceived notions all the time. Everyone does. So I just like think it's kind of fun. That's why I like doing these podcasts where I can just talk completely candidly and just like
Just let it
explain, just
out.
like have fun and just talk about stuff. Because I
Yeah.
can talk about anything as long as it is. But it's like I've seen a lot of people have this sort of preconceived notion that it was like yeah like some full Karmitage type vibe, which sometimes maybe I'm like I kind of wish it was more.
Right.
But
That's funny, dude.
yeah, that's what I think they think probably. Um, but
What's
yeah,
your idea on like because I mean you're having a blast, dude. You're having a good time. You're doing this crazy, very intricate work. The visuals from one side of it, just looking at it through a screen, and you see your work, you see the aesthetic and stuff. But what's your own like mentality or your mind on legacy and keeping that drive, keeping the motivation, the purpose. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I think that's why like I really am so serious when it comes to that part. Because it's like if you like have a conversation, there's a lot of like, like humor and like fun and like nowness and presence and just kind of like, fucking off with a lot of it. Like, oh dude, and like talking shit. Like, but like why like the people like, whoa, so like, oh, is this dude fake? It's like, no. Everything about how I present it is like how I in like a more deeper state feel about reality in the world and how I want like what I think is good and what I think is true and what I think people should like how people this cat just hopped in the window.
What's up, Katie?
Fire cat Bengal. Yeah, like I think it's that all of that stuff is genuine. That's actually all that I really focus on like a legacy or like a time room. And it's like I just hope that there's like a voice that stands out as like a unique or like something that and hopefully it's contributive. So I think it's just like I think if I can just make each client happy and help change their life a little bit and like do something that empowers them individually, then collectively that becomes like a thing where it's like, okay, you helped thousands of people like feel better about themselves. And it's like, okay, well, that's like feels like I'm doing something to try to like shift the like human consciousness, even if it's just a tiny bit in the direction that's like of benefit for all like beings, So I think on the like jokes about the karmatage thing, that's very much like trying to be as much of like a bodhisattva as possible and just like trying to alleviate suffering, which yes, it's ironic causing pain, but like, hopefully it's like small amounts of pain to like alleviate a lifetime of like, make them feel more empowered and more powerful and more like centered and strong, like visually feel better about themselves. And yeah, hopefully it's just like contributing to people's overall well-being and feeling of like, being better and like hopefully you can motivate people to want to be better and like I think it's just that really just like hopefully some of the stuff can convey a sense of knowing and that sense of knowing can aid in the internal like anxiety on the more cosmic things where it's like I think that's really what it is, and this whole pursuit of knowledge, of understanding what is reality and how do we even start to answer those questions helps to sort of like quiet the anxiety of like those same questions of who we are, what we're doing here, why, what's the purpose. And I think really it's simple. It's like you should be trying to experience as much joy as possible while here alive in reality and sharing that feeling of joy. So it's like if you can emanate joy and happiness and like groundedness and to make people's lives better through humor, through fucking all of it, just make people happier and have fun with it and just try to like not hold grudges and just like keep it like light and easy and fun and just put love out there. You know what I mean? Like just bring that into people's lives and just like not hate on too much and just try
a great example is the way you adapted to feel the burnout or feel that like artistic, the creative, the cap, and then you just adjust, like you adapt to something else, or you're like, okay, if this isn't working, we need to find out what is.
Trust us, you know what I mean? Like, if you try the same thing expecting different results, that's like the solid, easy definition of like insanity, right? Like, well, we try the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result to happen. So you have to adapt, you have to change. Adaptability is like the most resourceful, the most adaptable is how you like evolve. I mean, that's like the precursor to like evolution, like trying to adapt to like their circumstances, like we all do that and we're all trying to do that. And I think it's just like, I don't know. I think if you're just like focusing on the intention and doing things for the right reasons, and even if those reasons are like sometimes like heavily financial, like things are weird, which is if it's like beneficial to like provide for a family and stuff. Like people don't know what's going on behind the scenes. People know what people are working for. I'm not working out here for like, I saw on one of the like I think John Mesa's like the Honest Tattooer podcast. I saw them talking about that, like the difference between like are you working to like have your art leave like a legacy, or are you working to like provide for a family and stuff? You know what I mean? And there's both probably or hopefully or whatever, and everyone's got their own thing, and I'm not here to judge one or the other, but I'm not really working here to leave like an artistic legacy. I'm trying to alleviate the like suffering and like provide for like a family. I got parents who I've been providing for, wife and kids, like I'm out here trying to like make their lives better and be a foundation stone for their like reality. So like I don't really, whatever happens on the work side, like I'm not out here trying to like, I don't tattoo like, dude, my portfolio would be out of control if I tattooed for free. I mean, like I mean, like, bro, bodysuits all day. If it
Right.
was do whatever you want for free,
Right.
bodysuits, nothing but bodysuits. So, I mean, I think that's honestly something though to mention with this whole like everyone looking at portfolios. I mean, these portfolios are a byproduct of what you convince clients to afford and doing as a business. Like these portfolios, it's like this is not a portfolio based on just like my artistic capabilities,
Yeah.
like by any means, like 0%. Like if I were to do a portfolio based on zero, say 1,000 clients at nothing free, they'd be all bodysuits all day. The
Yeah.
craziest bodysuits.
Right.
So when someone sees the work and they're like, oh, that's fire. It's like, bro, that was through such a like trying to balance the like providing for like yourself and people living in high expensive ass areas and then also trying to be artistically stimulated and make people feel like empowered. So this is just a byproduct of like trying to yes man everybody's thing and like hold some boundaries and like it's a mix of all of it, as is everybody's work. But that sometimes is something that I've recently felt a little bit kind of like, damn, like I don't think my portfolio is a reflection of my highest capabilities as an
Mhm.
artistic medium. I think it's a byproduct of my ability to like provide for a family and like tattoo whatever people are asking me for at the same time. But I do sometimes want to know what it would be like if I just did like, hey, I'm doing 10 bodysuits.
Yeah.
Money's not an issue. I'm doing 100 bodysuits. We're doing a year where it's just full suits. Because that's the thing. I don't know. I think sometimes I feel a little salty about that, where it's like, as you climb up the ladder and you're like of success, and now you're increasing rates and stuff to be able to like max lifestyle or whatever, which is probably not rational, but growing up listening to rap music the whole time, you want nice shit. Like you then realize like okay, it's just a balance where I'm like, I would like to know what my portfolio would look like in a way if I just never, if it was just like the rate was what it was in 2005, and just like
Sure.
and based purely on artistic, non-limited by like people's financial realities. Cause that's something almost never spoken about in tattooing is that like portfolios, it's not fine art. We're not,
Right.
I mean, it is, of course it's fine art being that it's like on a human for sure, but you can paint whatever you want and no one's really stopping you. And there's like finance isn't really stopping you. Yeah, I mean, I guess Burning Man is like an example of if you take unlimited capital and you push it into art and say, what can happen if we unlimitedly fund this? There's a giant sculpture. And I guess like I feel actually that like my artistic exploration is so
Yeah.
limited by that because it's like I can't just build a temple. I tried. I was like, I
Right.
can't afford a temple.
Yeah.
So it costs about 3 million. Like I gotta get architects, I gotta be my own architect, I gotta try to plan, like so I don't know, man. I feel kind of actually financially limited to create art in the way that I would like to create it. So I don't know. There's so many levels to it, and I'm not saying I have an answer for that. And
Yeah,
people,
last night my client asked me, he was this is his second tattoo, and he was going a little larger in the scale, and he was like, how do you base your pricing? Which is kind of a weird question to have with an artist where
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
sure, yeah, for sure.
it's kind of a weird one, right? We're always trying to dodge. We're trying to do
Oh,
everything
for
we
sure.
can, right? We're trying to like dodge that question as long as we can. Let's
Yeah.
just get down to what you want. So therefore, you're telling me the worth and the value. I'm doing this. I want this. I want that. Okay, all right. Let's keep on that. How much? Wait, hold on. Let's keep adding to this. Like, and it's not even to oversell or nothing, but you really want to get like you mentioned that consult time. You're tailoring this piece of the client.
Yeah, they're the thing is that they're asymmetrical, right? So like you're
Right.
trying to accomplish, we want actually we see now we want the exact same thing. So us and the client want the same thing. We want to create the most epic piece humanly possible because we want to be validated in our artistic ability. So we want them to come in and say, I want a bodysuit, let's go, unlimited. And we
Right.
want the unlimited budget also because we want to feel validated for
Right.
the effort too. And we want to feel
Credibility.
like it's like we
Right.
want to feel like also because we have bills and mortgages or
Sure.
rent.
For
So
sure.
like we can just go, okay, cool. I'm just going to give you a bodysuit and just whatever. And they'll be like, oh well, you were ready X, Y, and Z. Yeah, everyone's in their own thing. Everyone's doing stuff, bro. I like most people aren't trying to build all this other stuff and losing and taking L's on huge projects. Everyone's in their own reality. There's also like there's an infinite like parameter of like this is nothing symmetrical. So it's like you've got 25 million millionaires in the US alone. So
Right.
it's one in every 15 people. So there's an infinitely asymmetrical. And then like on average, most people are like completely like so it's a complete there's every single potential boundary of these things.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like we're just trying to like fit the parameters and get it to work. And because we want to artistically be able to do the absolute most, and we want to feel like validated in doing the most and motivated to do the most. So it's like kind of so. Point of all the rambling is we want the same exact thing actually. Like the clients want their tattoo to be the dopest tattoo we've ever done in the history of the tattoos we've ever
For
done.
sure.
Every single one of them wants this. They're like, yo, I want my sleeve to be the dopest sleeve you've ever done. That's what they want. So it's like, okay, like it's just about that balance, and that's really what it is. And honestly,
it's like keep on. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
like,
We
keep
want
us
the same
doing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we want the same thing.
Well, I had that same conversation with an attorney. He's a buddy of mine. He's a lawyer, and I asked him, I'm like, it's like getting the experience of this guy that's been through the trenches, paid his dues, and then you get that public defender that's free. You're probably not gonna win the case, bro.
Well, that's the thing, right? So it's like it's the analogy with the like Picasso, where like some chick comes up to him at the cafe and it's like, so he like signs a note, and then she like it's like, oh, he's like 5,000 or something for the 15,000 or something for
Like
the
a
note.
napkin. Yeah.
Yeah, for the napkin drawing, which like I honestly doubt happened. That sounds like a fucking urban
Sure,
legend.
sure. Yeah.
No, he probably just drew that shit and gave it to her. Like what? It's like a fucking napkin, but maybe he didn't. And the point is, and she was like, "I can't believe it's that much." And he's like, "It took you 5 seconds." And he's like, "Yo, you're not paying for the 5 seconds. You're paying for like my 40, 50 years of like building where I'm at
What's
today."
behind it, right?
No, so it's like, yeah, they're not paying. People think they're paying for their tattoos. It's like we don't sell products, bro.
No.
You're paying for the everything that every moment of breathing of life that happened
In that moment.
37.9 years prior to them being there. So
Right.
they're on the way, they're on the wave of the whole experiential learning curve. So it's like every single thing I do is all going into it. It's like, like how many hours does it count? Like 10,000 hours to master something? All right, what's like
Right.
6,000 hours, bro? Like what? 10,000, that's not even that much. It's like,
How do you even put a time frame? How do you put
yeah,
and
it's
then
just
like
okay, yeah. So it's just like none of that. It's all balanced. So I don't know. It's a challenge. The whole thing. It's cool to just kind of like give people insight to all the inner workings of what's
sure.
happening behind
that's
the
what I
scenes.
love. Yeah.
Because I think really what this is like totally like a Wizard of Oz type shit, where it's like, what's going on behind the scenes? What are you thinking? What do y'all talk about? Because this is like the kind of shit we talk about all the time. Like I have apprentices and stuff. Like like we'll have these conversations. This is like a daily. This whole conversation is like a daily, weekly
It
conversation.
happens, right?
But they don't necessarily see all the inner workings of how all this stuff works. And it's probably very good for just understanding sort of like what to expect and just like getting a glimpse into the mind of artists. So I think the podcast,
Transparency, yeah.
yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, because I'm a super truth maximalist. It's
For
like
sure.
I'll do whatever, just ask. It's like, and most clients like I talk the whole time, so it's not like I'm not one of the dudes who just sits there, throws his headphones in, and just tats. Like I'm like,
You're trying to connect.
yeah,
A relationship, right?
Let's go get a printer. Wear a shirt, dude. If you don't want to like have a piece of art from an artist made for you, handmade, like what? It's crazy. I mean, tattooing
The craft, dude. That appreciative craft, man. Like leather work. I mean, everything that goes into it. I appreciate all that. That's where when I started learning about when I dived into building machines, man, I obsessed over it because it's like, or just to purchase one and not even care. Like you go to a convention and you're like, you see Eddie B machines or something, or like whoever. And you're just like, you appreciate it. Like to see Aaron Kane carve. I mean, I watched him carve into a machine. I'm like, dude, that is like blacksmith, medieval, you know what I mean?
Straight up, the amount of energy that dude puts into his stuff. One of the most undervalued like things that dude's still selling machines for like less than like you can get a CNC printed machine like
Right.
companies. Like that to me is kind of like
It's crazy.
kind of a shame. I don't have a solution for that. It is what it is. It all kind of balances out or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, I would love to see a lot of that craft stuff get elevated to a higher level. And maybe it will, maybe we're just like early to some of it. Like in 20 years, when there are so few people doing that, they will be kind of seen as these like antique relics of like, sort of like on that pedestal of what it is. And maybe we're just getting to witness such like craftsmanship, like, but I hope that continues and moves forward and isn't replaced all by robotics and like mass production of machines
Right.
and like needles and just everything. And there's a benefit of like making things in like using technology to make technology, but there's also a downside. So I think it's like
Right.
important to kind of.
What's next on your books? Like, what do you have going on as far as travels, like the shop? Like, what do you have on the
I'm
horizon?
going to
Like,
the Venice convention, Venice, Italy. I'll be in Italy twice this year. I just got back from Germany. I'll be at the Icons and Prodigies one in Venice, and then I'll be at the Ancona one. And it's like on the other side of Italy. I've never been over there, so I wanted to check that out.
oh, that'll be rad.
And then I've got maybe a little bit of other travel, nothing that I know of right now. Gonna just kind of keeping it a little easy, trying to get some of the stuff done. I want to get the app like on its way and really like dialed. I want it to be like finished in a way that's like it's available now for download, but I have a vision for it that I want to kind of get to, and I
Yeah,
think
I've used it. I use it on the iPad. I love it. I've
okay,
used it.
cool.
I've used it many times on the. I've done a lot of like graphic stuff behind like my artwork or whatever when I'm
Okay,
doing like a. And dude, that
okay,
app
cool.
is so versatile. Like you
No, thank
mentioned the vectorized because somebody wants to do a logo on the shirt.
yeah, for sure. You need it, and
Yeah,
there's not a lot of stuff that you can do that yet. And it's just we ran into an issue with like the max iterations, like the original framework that it was built on, it can only like have a certain amount of iterations. So if you try to get like really crazy with it, it's like it like can't process that. Like it literally is like beyond the boundaries of the framework of the original code. So it's like we're gonna kind of do like a whole overhaul in parallel to produce like way more of everything, basically. Way more symmetry options, way more spiral options, way more shape options, way more, but mostly the interoperability capabilities will function way quicker and without like any type of like degradation to like speed. And there's just a RAM. It's all over the iPads too, because
yeah,
they're not like the processing power is not the same as like a laptop or
right.
something.
Yeah, it's got to also like meet up with
Yeah,
all the stuff. Yeah,
understand gestural control. So it's like we're trying to have like, add in stuff people like and take feedback, where people like the double tap feature on like Procreate, which I didn't really like. That didn't exist when I started this, so now we're like, okay, we'll add those and maybe we'll switch around header. So there's a lot of work still to be done with that. I actually got to send an invoice to those devs like not yet tomorrow,
yeah,
Monday.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, okay, we'll get on it. But yeah, man, cool. I'm glad you're using it. I've
No, I
been
like
kind
it,
of
dude.
quiet. Yeah, so we're working on that, and then I might do this. I might move back to Wimberley. So the studio is a little bit in flux. It's all close though and easy. It's right now. I'm gonna focus a lot on tattooing. Not a lot of other side projects. I think that the ranch thing was taking a lot of my mental capacity away
True.
from tattooing, just fine art and just drawing more. So
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I'm feeling really motivated, really hungry. I mean, I feel like I got like a good
a whole new spark.
yeah. I feel like I got a couple more decades of tats to
Right.
slay. So like I'm trying to really get after it.
That's
And yeah,
dope,
I
dude.
kind of honestly want to like I want to get a little more competitive in that too. Like I don't know, maybe I'll make it easier for people to get tattooed and go bigger with projects. Or
That's
I
like
want to like
obviously the aspirations. Yeah.
yeah, I want to push it, and I want to focus a little more on the art itself and push that. Now that I'm getting a little bit more like stable with some of the stuff, out here. So it's gonna be fun. Just trying to put out more work, which is funny because I already tattoo 5 6 days a week. So
Yeah, it's like, but I need more.
more,
Yeah. That's dope,
more,
dude.
more of more is
Right,
what.
right.
So yeah, just I don't know, man. I'm gonna get after it.
Hell yeah, dude. So from all life experiences, everything you've been through, someone were to come up to you and ask for advice. I'm sure you've shared this a lot with other people. Your own experiences, the things that you've gone through, what is it all, what all have you taken from life to this, to thus far? Knowing that you have these goals, knowing that you have like this, you're reaching out, your arms are stretched out super wide to all these different, avenues. It's like that. Yeah, have you seen those the plates that are spinning, It's like you got to keep
Oh yeah,
this
yeah,
one's
bro.
spinning, then that one's falling, right? So, what have you taken from life thus far where you could just sit and wrap it all up and just being like, I would tell somebody this.
Well, I think you can do anything that you believe, like anything you can think you can achieve and like you believe in, you can achieve. So I think like what you think about, you bring about. And so really only put attention on things you want to see manifest and happen. Because I think that I think our imagination is so powerful that, and especially as creators, literally like being creatives, it's like, I think the main thing is to like not squander that creative spark and truly know that like, if you can think it, you can make it happen. So
For
like,
sure.
be careful what you put your attention on, and also like, yeah, don't focus on too much negative stuff. It's not going to help. Don't get too bogged down on like all of everyone feels like they can't accomplish everything. Everyone's got like um just like everyone's got insecurities. Everyone feels like they're not good enough. Everyone feels like, so it's not like it doesn't help. It's not like you got to turn that shit into motivation, and you got to just figure out what it is you want. And also one thing at a time, one
Yeah.
step, it's one step in front at a time. Like you
Right.
can't like don't try to do all of it at once. It won't work. Choose something, give it 100, see how that goes. If it doesn't work, reevaluate, try something else. But no, that's really it. Is
I
that
love how
like
you regress though. I like how you take things away. You're like,
yeah,
dude, I
remove the unessential, remove the unnecessary. That's just Bruce Lee type shit. So it's like take everything away that isn't working. Like
yeah,
sometimes it's like I tried all these different business models and all this different entrepreneur stuff, and it's like, or just put a little more energy in the thing that's working. Feed, water the plant that's growing already. Feed
right.
feed what's there. Don't necessarily just like let all the plants that are like don't take things for granted. Also like don't take think that like you can get lazy just because like you got where you wanted to be. Say like, I'm where I wanted to be a long time ago, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way if I don't just like, I don't keep putting energy in. It's like, if I don't post anything on the internet for like a year, guess what? I'm gonna have a lot less bookings. You know what I mean? Like
For sure. Don't think
it's
I'm
not
not
like
busy. Yeah.
it's not for sure. Don't like get comfortable and just like, yeah, get after it. And at the end of the day, it's like, there are lots of people who are going to get after it. Like, it's like, so like, if you're just like, don't, it's like, and it is hard, dude. It's hard. Everything's hard. The challenge is what like makes it like also worth it to accomplish anything. Like, if the tattoos were easy, then it wouldn't be fun. It'd be boring. You would just burn out. You'd burn out because you would feel understimulated, underwhelmed. It would be nothing.
Yeah.
I think it's like, yeah, adverse, like just challenges, and it's like kind of like it's fun. If you don't find some joy and fun in that, then you're not. It's gonna be rough.
Gotta
I don't know.
change it up. Yeah.
You gotta have fun with it, And also, if you're not having fun with it, why are you doing it? We're just drawing on people. It's just art, Like at the same time, if you all aren't having fun doing art, then like I don't know, you could do something else a lot less fun than art.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know, y'all try plumbing. That shit's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody probably loves that shit, dude. It's like there's a lot of problem solving. I tried doing
Absolutely.
that. It wasn't that fun. I was
Yeah.
like, I had a bunch of pipes explode. I'm like, all right, you know what? Today's the day that I'm gonna sweat these pipes. I'm gonna go to the hardware store.
It's on, son.
I'm
Yeah.
a too. I was like, I can do math. I was like, yo, this shit is just exploding. I'm cutting the pipe shorter, shorter. I'm in the basement crawling. There's just like spiders and sludge and sewage. I'm like,
Yeah.
not it. More power to the plumbers out there, dude.
For
They're getting
sure,
after
dude.
hard work. So I think there's a lot of harder things you could be doing than tats. So I think remember how grateful like we should all be for like doing art for a living. It's fire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you to the clients, man.
No, absolutely. So it's like I think don't take any of this stuff for granted, and honestly, just great gratitude. And that's why I think the answer to not taking it for granted is just to give it 110%. Pour out 100% of yourself into the craft, into all of it, because
Right.
everybody knows inside if they gave it 100.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I don't. You
No,
can't.
it's like you got to be like honest to yourself and know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you look inside and you say like, damn, did I give like it's kind of like the Michael Jordan type thing. It's like, did you give it like 130? Did you like you're still alive, so you didn't give it 100. So if you said yeah, then
Yeah.
you're fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
You didn't die doing the tat, so you were alive, bro. You didn't give it 100, but you give it like maybe 80.
Right, right, right.
So like,
Yeah, dude. It's like they don't call it the flu games for nothing. You know what I mean? like
don't maybe give it 100.
Right, for
Give it like
sure.
80. Like
Yeah.
don't give it 100 though. It's
Yeah,
like
dude.
it's
No
like the
joke.
quiz. I thought you were gonna say to give it 100. I'm like, no, you would not. That's fake, bro. You would die. You can't give it
Right.
100. Give it like good 80%.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Where could people find your stuff, man? How can people
uh,
book with you? Plug in your, the
my
IG.
website, though I haven't updated it in probably a decade. It's DillonForte.com. There's also just Instagram, which is just Dillon Forte. I keep it easy. I don't believe in any pseudonyms, so it's just my name. It's like my actual name too. People will be like, "Yo, is that like your real name?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro." Like what? But that's a whole separate
like Fortissimo, Forte. I was like, dude.
Yeah, that's just my fucking name, dude. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't fake the funk, dude. This shit's 100% authentic.
100 you, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that's my name. It's you can find it on damn near anything. You type it on the internet, you should probably be able to find it.
Absolutely.
.com @IG. I think I got a Twitter. I got like one follower or something. That I don't really
post. Yeah. Shout out that one follower.
My Twitter, dude. My ex.
Looking
at crypto memes and like Bitcoin on there. I'm like, is it going up? Okay, no, not yet. Okay, cool. It's going up. Up, still not. Okay.
Right.
I'm on X. If you need to find me, just go only on there. No, I got all of them, dude. I got a TikTok. I got like 2 videos on there.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Yeah. Hey, you're there. You're somewhat relevant. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty big on my on my Pinterest.
Check out my pin page. Yeah.
2011.
Right.
I got a Wikipedia. I do that.
Google me, Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't edit that shit though, please. Like don't put I got a YouTube. I don't think I post anything on there. Really, Instagram and my website are the only thing I update remotely. I'm pretty active on Instagram. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's too much. It's too much, bro.
It's a lot, dude.
Gotta do too much. It's social media now.
Too many avenues. Like we got other stuff to do. It's like
I got a bunch of like skulls and stuff over here. Like all kinds of weird. Like
I was gonna say I like your office, man. It's dope.
Yeah, it's usually I'm actually facing the other way, but the other way is like literally a white wall right now. So like I was in the video going, oh shit, I should flip this around.
Yeah.
But no, man, it was good. It was good hanging out, good talking.
And I appreciate you, dude, making the time to like get on. I know like you're hella busy, so I was all stoked. I was like, bro, hell yeah, we'll get Dillon on.
Yeah, I got Easter egg hunts to do, so I'm gonna get after.
No, same. I'm gonna go get the boys right now. We're gonna go get some Easter eggs. I wanted to hit up Cleo. It's funny you mentioned her because I wanted to get her on too, dude.
Okay, dope. Yeah. I'll text her and let her know. Like,
hell yeah, dude. Everybody, also, thank you guys for watching to the end, man. You ever come to Cali too, man? Let me know. We'll go hang.
I'll hit you up. Yeah, I'm always out there. I'll be in San Diego with Fibs in like July or something. So.
Or I'll go to Austin or something. I'd be sick to go see the spot, man.
Definitely. Cool, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man. This has been Tattooing Out Loud. Thank you, Dillon. Catch you guys on the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out his artwork, man. Appreciate you. Thanks. Thanks, brother. Later on, man. I'll keep you posted.